Welcome to Mine Explorers, episode 35, where we're back in the studio, which we haven't been for a couple weeks.
Back home for a minute.
Yeah, we're in Austin and Rock Springs, and next week, Crystal is in Austria.
Woohoo, vacation time for me.
Austria in the fall. It's going to be great.
This should be lovely. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be
excited.
nice. Get fall weather and
Yep.
maybe a little snow on the mountains.
Who knows? I'm in for whatever brings us. Now it's just go time of getting the company up and running, and so I can just disappear and not have to do anything.
Yep. Yeah, that's always a little stressful a week before you're leaving. Make sure everybody's good to go, the teams are ready.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the team. It's more of like the things that I want to get done, like just, marketing stuff and things of that nature, and rolling into Q4 really strong because that's like our biggest push for the end of the year, right? It's our last big hoorah. And so make sure that we are on track to hit our numbers and all that. So lots to do. The team's excited. They're motivated. They know what they need to do.
So, speaking of CEOs leaving, Mark Bristow
That was
resigned
interesting.
abruptly from Barrick yesterday. And curious timing that took pretty much all analysts by surprise. And some were excited, some were disappointed. Now, Mark's been at the head of Barrick since 2019. Mm-hmm. And so all of this upswing and everything that's happened, he's been involved in the Randgold Barrick merger. He's been involved in getting a lot of operations spooled up. He oversaw the whole Nevada gold mines formation with Newmont. He was very instrumental in that. But recently, with all the issues in Mali,
I think he's just gotten beat down.
And they took a $1 billion impairment this year when they shut down that mine. And so,
I mean, that whole area has just been going nuts. Like, I swear, like once a month you'd read something in the news about how Mali was just destroying Barrick in some way. Like, I mean, they stole their helicopters with their gold bullion in it.
Stole their gold bullion. They locked up three of their managers. They issued an arrest warrant for Mark Bristow. And the tricky thing is the other Canadian companies that operate in Mali managed to negotiate and get through it, and Barrick put their foot down, and rightly so in a lot of ways. I mean,
they were getting bullied.
You can't get extorted forever.
Right.
I mean, it's got to make business sense. And Barrick, being the big dog, thought that they could probably put their foot down and get what they wanted in the end, or at least come up with something fair, but it's not your country.
Yeah, I know.
And those are the dangers of working in a jurisdiction like that.
For sure.
Yeah, so.
For sure.
I mean, at least here in the United States,
we have our own issues, but.
Well, it's hard to get started.
Yes.
But once you're going, you don't have to worry about somebody coming in and taking the mine from you or anything else. And as long as you're following all the environmental regulations and you're operating safely and the economics are good, you're golden, and you can operate as long as you've got reserves.
Right, the government's not going to come in and just take it away from you.
But you may be able to get his mine started much more quickly somewhere else, but then there's always that geopolitical risk. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Interesting speculation on that across the board.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Barrick hasn't even made a formal statement yet. I mean,
it happened yesterday.
Still fresh, but I don't know.
Well, they did. No, they did. They did make a formal statement. It was short.
Oh, okay.
They said Mark Hill, who's run their copper division in South America,
right,
is stepping in as interim CEO. They've hired a firm to help them seek out a new CEO.
So I wonder if it just took everyone by surprise then.
The board would have known.
You would think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there was obviously some tense board meetings recently, and the cracks start to show, and then
right.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, CEOs at these big mining companies get churned up pretty quickly.
Right, they do. Seems like their average tenure is like five years.
Yep, and they age 20 during that time period. So
yeah, it's like being the president of the United States, you know.
Yeah, high stress, lots of pressure.
High stress, lots of pressure. You're in the news constantly.
Not for me.
Not for you?
It's not for me. No, I would not do that.
Oh yeah, I know.
No.
That's a different type of.
I would rather own great projects quietly than
Yes.
be the CEO.
Oh yeah. Being high profile is it's not our
Yeah,
game.
you get paid great to have a target on your back all the time.
So what do you think this changes like the gold market? Like, are there any big waves that you see coming?
So Rick Rule posted yesterday on X, and he said, "Is it time for a Newmont Barrick merger?" Because Newmont just appointed a new CEO, and literally just like in the last week. And now Barrick doesn't have a CEO. And Newmont and Barrick have shown that they can work together with Nevada gold mines.
Right.
And some analysts are anticipating that Barrick's going to focus less on geopolitical sensitive areas and focus more on geopolitically safe areas like the United States. And there's a big push overall to move to the United States. We talk about it every episode. There's
Right.
some new funding bill or things streamlining permitting or whatever. There's a big tailwind to move things into the US. And while Barrick gold is not a critical mineral and it's less focused on, Barrick has made a shift into copper, and they focus a lot more on copper. And like their involvement in the Hercules project is a great example.
Yes.
And then 5 Mile in Nevada and some other projects domestically that they're drilling out, exploring, and getting ready for production. If they were to focus more domestically and they have Nevada gold mines to look to, where they're already partnered with Newmont, and that's whatever cracks and rifts and issues have happened with that have at least been under the surface.
Right.
They're not, I haven't heard internal industry rumors or turmoil there. There definitely hasn't been any public issues that I'm aware of. And so they've proven they can work together, and so a merger may make sense. And this would be an answer to the Anglo-American tech merger, Tech-Anglo, $53 billion merger. This would be the Barrick-Newmont answer to that. But it would be bigger, potentially, by a fair bit. And so, I mean, the world's number one and number two, or Barrick may have actually fallen to 3 now. Newmont's still number one gold producer in the world. Barrick's been 1 plenty of times. I think they might be 3 now. But
Wow.
Don't quote me on that. I think they might be number 3. So if you combine 1 and 3, then they're the largest gold producer.
Then they're the largest.
So between Tech-Anglo and Barrick Newmont, you would have a BHP Rio Tinto size outfit.
Yeah.
And they could compete seriously in copper. Although Newmont's expertise really is gold, between Barrick and Newmont, they could be pretty serious.
Dominate the gold market for sure.
Yeah, so Rick Rule posted that. And I actually didn't hear about Mark resigning until I saw the Rick Rule tweet, and I was like, I wonder what spurred that. Like, it's an interesting thought process, but what spurred it? And then it's like,
with him retiring, then it's like, well, maybe it is time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, he didn't announce he was retiring. He abruptly resigned.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He abruptly resigned.
So the company's issued a statement and thanked him for his service and all the great things he's done. And then said that Mark Hill's going to come in and run this. But he did not say that Mark Bristow has not issued a statement.
Right.
And he may not.
Yeah.
He may just quietly end up chairing the board of some other junior or something.
Yeah, that is interesting. I hope he does, though. I think that would help give a little bit of clarity as to what's going on in his brain. But yeah, a merger between Barrick and Newmont, that could change a lot of things. I mean,
well, Nevada is really strategically important for both companies.
For
and
sure.
They already have a JV there that Barrick operates.
right.
Barrick's the operating partner. But I think that shows that it could be done.
It could be
on
done
a global scale.
On a global scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I mean, obviously, something like that is going to require shareholder approval, and it's going to require the board being on board, and who knows what kind of
And mountains of paperwork and all of that.
like all the regulatory,
It wouldn't happen overnight. We'll just
the
say
regulatory hurdles. And it may not make sense. So Barrick has not kept up with its peers in terms of its stock price. Barrick has underperformed its peers this year. While gold has had this meteoric rise, its peers have done very well, and Barrick has done well, but not nearly as well. And maybe the stock's down a little bit today, like 3%.
Okay.
So there's not, and it's still early in the day. The news may not have been fully digested, but I'd imagine most of it has been. So people aren't bullish on Bristow being out, but they're not really bearish either. Like, that's a pretty neutral response for a CEO resigning abruptly. Like 3-4% is pretty neutral. I would say like down 10% is very bearish. People are sad about it and upset. And up 10% says he's been holding the stock price down.
Right.
But a modest decline, that's just, hey, there's some turmoil and stuff here. But I think a lot of Barrick shareholders will look at it as, hey, if new management can come in, they can work with the government of Mali, they can make some key changes. There could be a lot of upside in the stock and a chance for it to catch up to its peers, in which case I think a merger wouldn't make sense. So, I mean, I'd give it a 5% chance.
Yeah.
But the timing is curious.
The timing is curious.
New CEO at Newmont, new interim CEO at Barrick. They're on a big CEO search. They've got some structural issues they need to fix and some key things. So that'll be interesting. But overall, all the miners have been they've been very capital conservative. They've not been on big spending sprees. They've been pretty conservative with their capital. They've been cutting costs. They've been protecting margins. They've been running their business well. And I think Mark did a good job with all that. And in Mali, like, that's just the kind of thing you get stuck in.
It's just a risk.
It's just a thorn in his side.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go bad either way. So
Right.
that's what it is. So leadership, though, comes from the top. Felt like there was a good, strong leader there. He led some good transitions and stuff. On a more like close level, you've been working on leadership training at Burgex.
Yeah, it's something that I think is very important for every level of our team. So it's not just about the C-suite. It's not just about the directors. It's empowering our people to act as individuals and for the best interests of the company and for our clients. So yeah, we did a little leadership training for the directors, which was great. It honestly was the first one we've ever done, but I think it's something that we will implement more regularly because it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, but you forget, like, you have to train your people if you want to progress as a company. And so, you know, when I stepped into the CEO spot, it was like, I can't just be the same Crystal that I was. I have to be pushing myself and learning new things and getting out of my comfort zone so I can lead the team to where I want to take the company. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's been great, and it's been very uncomfortable at times, but I have to also take that knowledge and put it into my team so we can get to bigger and better places. So yeah, it's been fun. I mean, and the team is very susceptible to that. Like, they're great. Like, they want to do better for their team. They want to do better for the clients, and they feel appreciated that we would take the time to sit down with them and be like, hey, this is some things that we're seeing in your leadership, but we can make some improvements, and here are some tools that we use on a daily basis that I think it would be wildly useful for them. Like the 1-3-1 rule.
Yeah, 1-3-1 rule is great.
Yeah, so if you guys have never heard of it, it's I heard of it at first from Dan Martell. I don't know if he is the creator of it, but either way, it's a 1-3-1 rule. It's come to figure out one question that you have, because a well-defined question is halfway to solving the problem.
Right.
So you come up with your one question, and then you figure out 3 solutions to solve that question, right? And then you pick which one do you think is the best one, in your opinion. And so an example, if I have a question or say Stu comes to me with a question, and say, hey, how do we solve this? It's not my job to fix it for you, right?
So it's a delegation tool.
It's a delegation tool.
So when somebody comes to you with a question, you say, go find 3 potential solutions and recommend the best one.
Yep.
And 90% of the time, the solution they recommend is the answer.
It is the answer.
And it empowers them to participate in the decision-making process.
Yes. Yep. And then it takes off that responsibility from you of like, you're not there to solve your team's problem. You're there to encourage your team to solve their own problems.
Right.
It's great. It's beautiful. Because honestly, most of the time, people just want to, from what I've seen, like just yesterday, they just want to tell you the issue that they're working on, and then they already have the solution, and you're just there to be like, yes, you sounds like you're on the right track.
Right, right. Yeah, and if they're doing the research and they're making the decision and recommending it to you, most of the time that's the right decision. But back to the leadership and empowering leaders, a quote I heard at a conference about a month ago was, your company can only grow to the capacity of its leaders.
Right.
And that's not just the top, that's leaders at every level.
That's leaders at every level.
And so if you are missing, there's a gap in leadership, like say between the CEO and the rest of the C-suite, or the C-suite and the directors, or the directors and their team. If there's a gap anywhere there, your company is not going to be able to grow.
Yep.
It's going to be restricted, and you're going to have a lot of pain points. And so we realized that what happened really is we implemented a philosophy at Burgex that we don't give arbitrary raises. And so if you wanted a pay increase, you had to increase your output or your responsibilities. And so
you have to increase your value.
In order to work around that, we appointed people to director titles so they could increase their value that way. And it was more of an honorary thing. And then all of a sudden they're supposed to be leading, and there was no leadership training.
There was no training. There was no
expectations.
expectations.
Any expectations or anything.
Yeah.
We just did it to help people move through that. And that didn't make any sense because now we're realizing.
A lot of small business, because I talked to my business coach about this, and he's like, a lot of small businesses do that. They're really bad with titles.
Yeah.
And I see that, and it's okay. Like, I'm not mad about how, we did things, but now it's like, okay, we have some gaps in training. Let's just fix it. Because, the team, every team member has certainly earned that title, but now it's setting those expectations and then giving them the tools to be better at their job.
Well, and also evaluating, like, are you really, so if you're the best in your team, you're the best performer of your team at whatever widget you're building or thing you're doing, and you get promoted to the leader, that's a whole different skill set. And you may not have that. We may have leaders in leadership position that just don't have leadership skill sets.
Right.
And so our job first and foremost is to train. And then if the training sticks and we can develop great leaders, fantastic. But it may also involve shifting around and being like, okay, we actually need a leader in this position, and you can go back to doing what you did really well.
Right. I definitely believe in, if the individual is not performing how you want them, you need to look at it from a training standpoint.
Right.
Is this a training or person? Or is it training, or is it, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, is it on you or is it on them? And so like, I always think like, oh, this is probably my fault because I haven't trained the team of how I haven't set the expectations. I haven't painted done, right?
Well, and a good way to do that too is their willingness.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I'd like to train you and make you a better leader, and they're like, yeah, I'd love that. I'd like to be trained and be a better leader.
Right.
That willingness alone says they're probably capable of learning and eventually being a good leader. Whereas if they're like, nah, I got it, or there's ego,
or like, I don't need this,
then they're probably not going to be.
And it's funny because we've definitely seen both.
Yes, we have.
Not recently, but
no. I think our team now that we're training to be better leaders are all very capable of being good leaders.
Right.
But it's
setting the expectations, inspecting what we expect, and then keep it. It's not a one and done. It's a continual.
And none of them were promoted to a leadership position based on demonstrated leader abilities. They were promoted because they were good at their job.
Right.
So that's something that we've noted to fix in the future.
Right. No. It's so easy to promote.
But I mean, that happens everywhere.
Well, people get promoted out of their level of competency all of the time. Mm-hmm. All of the time.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's our job as their leaders to ensure that we don't do that. Or if we
Right.
do, we got to train them. And if they
Right.
can't take it, then yeah, there's a lot there. But it's fun. It is fun. Yeah.
We've turned this into a leadership episode.
I think it's so important,
Which is
though.
good.
It's so important because I mean, there's always being a leader is not like you're not born a leader. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, and I love the classification system of leaders of the quadrant. So you've got the leaders, and you've got the leaders that are in the no zone, who probably got promoted to leader, but they don't have any leader
Not
ambitious
competent, they don't.
capability. They just like the higher pay and the title.
Yep.
Then there's the kill zone, and those are the high performing leaders who are
Burn and churn.
Burn and churn, like the private equity firms bring them in to like juice up a company before they sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a contract hitman position, and it's necessary in a lot of places, but it's not long-term results. It's not if you're building a long-term company.
No, that's definitely
Then
short
there's
term.
the friend zone, and we've had a ton of issues with the friend zone. Mm-hmm. And this is way more focus on building relationship and not enough focus on performance. It's about the people over the performance.
Not holding your team accountable.
And accountability, a lack of accountability.
Yep.
Exactly. And
Yep.
then there's the end zone, which combines the best aspects of performance and accountability with the best aspects of relationship building.
Yep.
And that involves things like clear as kind and accountability and radical transparency. And what's the one that you had the other day that was like candor, radical candor?
Oh, radical candor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's
Aggressive candor. What does she call it?
yeah. That was a good video. But it's just being able to have those difficult conversations.
Right.
Yeah. So that's holding your team accountable. That's inspecting what you expect. That's clear as kind.
Yep.
Right. That's all of those things into one.
Yep.
And that's where we strive to be. That's where we want to be. Especially like at the top leadership. That's where we need to be.
Yeah, and if all your leaders are functioning at that level, and that bleeds down to your clients too, because you're being clear with your clients and you're being open with your clients and honest, and you're having accountability on both sides.
On both sides,
I
yes.
mean, accountability with your clients is both sides. Like, you deliver what you said you were going to deliver when you said you would deliver it, and they pay you when they said they were going to pay you when you deliver it. It's both sides.
It's both sides. It's a
Yeah, it could be abused both ways. But if you have leaders who are in that end zone, they can make sure the same, and you attract better clients. Like,
Yes.
the bigger we get and the more
we have noticed that.
the more we build our reputation and the better the companies we work with, the more we can be picky about. These guys don't fit our values. These guys fit our values.
Well, I mean, that's so important when you're doing business is you want to work with people who share the same values as you do, right? So if we have a client that doesn't have integrity, we're not going to work with them.
Right.
Like, that is a red, yellow flag
And we know they're
client.
coming. When gold starts to get up there and
We've
get
seen
frothy,
'em. Yeah.
they're coming.
Yep.
They're coming. The shady operators are coming. And I keep warning and putting up the, hey guys, keep an eye out.
Yeah,
But we're starting to see them come in.
we are. I mean, it's exciting for the industry as a whole, right? Because we
Right.
want to build that excitement. We want to get exploration going. Like, we love that. But as a company, we have to be very careful of who we're working with because our values matter.
Right.
Our integrity matters. And so if we let that slip, that's a downhill for the entire company. And that's just that's not okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's keeping that education going throughout the entire organization, right?
Yeah, and it's education, but once it becomes part of culture, then it's part of your culture, and your culture stays. Like, yes, culture can change and it can go bad, and you can
for
have
sure.
that, but only if you allow bad eggs in.
Right.
If you keep the people in the company who live and breathe the culture and maintain the culture, your culture can last centuries.
Yeah. It's so true.
And so if you have that culture, it'll repel any of those attacks. It's a healthy immune system.
Right.
We won't suddenly start working with shady people because we have a healthy immune system. All of the people that are in our company want to do quality work, and they want to work on quality projects. And so if somebody's coming in and they're running a pump and dump scheme or something like that, we sniff it out and the antibodies are on it right away. Like, we get rid of that.
But I mean, just like with any sickness, you have to take your vitamins. So that
Right.
would be training. Because sometimes, I mean, we usually can call it out. We usually can sniff it out.
Right.
But sometimes they do get pretty sneaky and clever, and they look like they're a legitimate company. And it's only till after you do a little bit of homework or you start just catching a few key words that you're like, maybe this doesn't feel right. So,
Yep.
so really it's just empowering our team to ask questions. Like, it's okay if you don't feel good about this, you tell us. Like, because you might see something that we don't, right?
Yep.
And I tell my team that all the time for like all different things. Like, you have different viewpoints than what I'm going to see. So I rely on you to give me a different perspective, right? Like, I tell my field guys this all the time because like they're out in the field. We're not in the field ever, right? So I have to rely on them to do the best type of work that they can. So it's the same with the entire team, right? Like, if they see something that they're not comfortable with, then they call it out, which is great. I saw that last week. We had a client come in who wanted us to do, I think it was underground sampling, but it was on competing claims with one of our like really good clients that we've been working with for years. And our senior landman was like, hey, I don't feel good about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to our main client and say, hey, we have an opportunity to do some work over here. We will not do anything unless we get your blessing, right? Because we want to maintain that relationship. This relationship is most important than this other new company, right? And so we sent him an email. I was CC'd on it. And the client's like, whoa, please don't. Like, we do not want you guys to do any work. We're going through the ringers with these guys. And so we're like, okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Like, we'll be here when you need us.
Right.
But it's more important for us to keep that integrity with our clients than just to go after whatever bid that comes through the door.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Because it's and it's a tricky one.
But the most important part is that our team can tell us that of like, hey, I'm not okay with this situation. Let's look at it. And then it's like, oh yeah, you're totally right.
Instead of just doing it.
Instead of just doing it or being like, it's probably fine. It's like, no. So it really makes me proud that our team holds up that integrity into our clients.
Well, like I said, it's part of the culture.
It's part of the culture.
You maintain that culture.
Yeah.
It'll protect you against all that stuff. So, I think that's a wrap on today. I think we tied it up, made it a nice little leadership episode.
I love it.
And it'll be interesting to see how things shake out with Barrick and lots of other stuff going on. The government's throwing money at mining projects left and right.
Getting the
everything
infrastructure.
From tungsten to the DOE is putting $500 million into domestic refining and processing.
Smelters and
smelting.
refineries, yeah.
And then there's a lot of looking into tailings.
Yeah.
And reprocessing and rare earths from coal and other products.
Well, and figuring out the mine
more.
to battery solution there.
Yes.
Which is a whole thing.
Yes.
That would be one episode, I swear, if we were to talk about that.
Yeah, and there's stuff going on in the lithium world where Elon Musk just announced a new like aluminum battery.
Oh wow.
That doesn't use lithium. So there's a few different things going on there. So always a shakeup, always interesting. Could talk about that for a long time, but I like to focus on leadership today. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, that's
nice
great.
and concise. And then please leave comments and give us feedback. We're thinking about maybe getting new cameras because these are kind of grainy and they don't always look great. Upgrading, maybe a few upgrades in the studio. I have some ideas. Maybe
Get
improve the lighting.
Plants in here.
Some plants, some better extend the background a little bit so we can have better angles, and then probably new cameras because we're sticking to this for the long term. And so we're going to kind of get in our stride and figure out what works and what doesn't. But your feedback really helps with that, and liking and subscribing. So we appreciate it. And we'll see you next week for Mine Explorers episode 36.